Hello, Jonathan Bowman-Perks, and welcome to my favourite time of the week. And I want to talk to you about the triathlon, which was yesterday, but I'll tell you about that later on. But firstly, my question is, does your life have real meaning and purpose? And do you feel that you're doing something that makes a difference and that you are going to leave a legacy in your lifetime, not after your lifetime? And are you doing something that's really, truly unselfish for other people? I think meeting my wife Leigh was really quite a watershed in many ways for very positive things. But one in particular was the fact that she is so unselfish in helping other people who are far less fortunate than she is. And so the charity that she set up, the Inspiring Leadership Trust, for vulnerable young girls who have been through mental health issues, abuse, modern day slavery, getting them from education into employment and using the skills of the leaders that she knows and that we meet to use their skills to help other people. So they're giving back, but also that they get something back from the academy where they're taught leadership work, is proving to be really powerful. And I think, having met these girls and heard people like Georgia give her talk about what she'd been through in her life and now how her life had been changed by the contributions of people like yourself and the individual skills of the volunteers who give their own skills and attributes, really sunk in with me. And I think also two of the charity areas, Kenya, in the slums of Kenya, going there was an eye-opener. And also in KwaZulu-Natal, where we've built the computer centre. It's a bit grand title, but it's a shipping container that's converted into both a library and a computer centre for the kids there, where there's 85% unemployment in the valley of 20,000 Zulus. All those things have really made giving to others and doing things for others a key part of our lives. But that wasn't always the way for me. And I think before, I do some fundraising, I give a bit when people ask, but quite a lot of requests people made I didn't respond to. I feel guilty about that now. And it was just like, it was more, I did a bit of it, but not very much. It wasn't quite a major part of my life that gives so much back by giving to others. And I think the other thing which has really struck me recently is the transforming power of being brought closer to your impending death. Yes, we are all going to die, but when you get a threat of cancer or something like that, and you suddenly think, oh, okay, so my time might be much shorter than I thought. Now, I was, as you know, if you've listened, I was lucky. I was told that I didn't have the cancer that they thought I had, and lucky me. But actually, good friends and relations of mine have not been so lucky, and I'm sure you have people who you know who are going through horrendous, life-threatening illnesses, cancer or other things, and it's a real shocker, and it really stops you in your tracks. And having that moment where you realize, oh, okay, so it might be suddenly life much shorter than you thought, really makes you appreciate who really matters and what really matters. And I think there have been many times before that, and maybe there will be since, but I don't think so many, where you can end up, and certainly I did, being quite small-minded and petty and niggling about certain things with the people who are close to you and who love you dearly, when actually that doesn't matter. And that's why I found the Stoical philosophy of people like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus and Seneca, 2,500 years ago, their wisdom is still very relevant today. Puts everything in perspective, what really matters and who really matters. You know, that famous saying that, on your deathbed, will you be saying, I've still got some work to do, or, what really matters on my deathbed? And many of the things that you're worrying about now don't really matter. My father had a successful naval career. He was a fast jet pilot, and he was expected one day to be an admiral, but his life was cut short. And his life was not this life, it was this life, and he was killed at 35. And that was way before his time and his ability. However, in that short space of time, he made a real difference to other people, particularly to the lives of the two people, both the pilot who was going to fly in the plane in which he died, and his navigator, his co-pilot, who he managed to get out and lived, and said it was because of my father who saved his life. So he lost his life in order to save the life of somebody else. That always sticks with me, not in a poor me kind of sense, but just an admiration for what he did to serve other people. And his legacy was not only that, but it was the 3 sons that he left. And I'm very fortunate. The work I do is in some ways inspired by him as an inspiring leader, trying to find other inspiring leaders. But what about you? You know, what is your meaning and purpose? What gives your life a sense of making a difference to somebody else in an unselfish way, rather than doing it all for yourself? And what's going to be your legacy when you go? And when will you go? You don't know. And if it was, you've only got a year left, what would you do in that time? And that is back to the point I made earlier on about the triathlon. That's why I did the triathlon, to raise money for the Inspired Leadership Trust charity for these vulnerable young girls going from education into employment, being given a better life. And thanks to many of the people who are listening on this video, together we raised £2,300 through me doing the triathlon, plus £500 of gift aid. Gift aid makes a huge difference. So a really big thank you to those who very generously supported. And I know you get the demands on your time and your limited resources from many people who are doing charitable work. But thank you. So we've made 91% of the target, which is phenomenal. It's a huge achievement. And for those who are pausing and have been busy with other stuff in your lives, that final 9% of target will make a huge difference to the girls that we're supporting. Some who've been through modern day slavery or mental health issues. It would be fabulous if you feel like after this, make a contribution, do click on the link I've given you. And if you haven't got a link, just drop me a note and I'll send you a link, and that would make a huge difference to the charity. So my final point is just think about your life, the work you do, what you're doing, and find meaning in it. Don't be just doing a job because it pays good money, but actually it leaves nothing at the end. Find some way in your life of doing something which puts everything in perspective, why you're doing it and the difference that you make. I can still see the faces of the women in KwaZulu-Natal when they got the contributions from the charity, and the difference in the children's faces when they were using some of those little basic computers and learning all about maths and different things they could do, but in a fun way. Or in the library where they got books, and they'd never had a library or books before. So please make this about you. But I also want to say thank you very much to those who contributed to me running in the race yesterday. I did do my best time by a little bit. A bit of an injury, but nothing that I can't repair. But it certainly was hugely inspiring, knowing that you'd all given contributions and that it really mattered what I was doing, and every step that I took, I knew it was going to be adding to the lives of other people. So thank you very much indeed. Bye for now.